What's up, everybody? We are back at Around the Mat Pod. I am your host, PJ North. It is another week of wrestling. All things happening right now. I can't wait to talk about it. But before we do, if you're watching live on Twitch, thank you. If you're watching this on YouTube the next day, hit that like and subscribe button. Tell your friends, comment below, do all the things. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, thank you. Hit that review button, man. 5-star or 1-star, whatever, however you feel. Man, share it with your friends. And don't forget, we're on all social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at AroundTheMatPod. And you can find me at the PJ North if you do so choose. But with that being said, man, it is another week, and I can't wait to talk about wrestling. And I've brought him back. He is the Ticket God. He is the head stooge, Freddie Briscoe. Freddie Fresh, what's up, baby?
What's happening, PJ? Glad to be back on the pod and talk everything WWE, AEW, whatever's going on in the world of professional wrestling.
Man, you know, I'm so glad you said anything that's going on in professional wrestling because I really wanted to get your take on the G1 tournament happening in New Japan right now.
Here's my take on it. I could give less than 0 fucks. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. There, yeah, man, not only is the G1 taking place, but the N1 is also taking place in Pro Wrestling Noah, and they've borrowed a few WWE people. As
that's
I
what
mentioned,
AJ was in, right?
No, AJ was just kind of over there, but it was at Pro Wrestling Noah, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But they did have this actually, it's not a headline, but I did want to talk about it, is Tavion Heights has become my new favorite wrestler.
He is really good.
Unbelievable.
At first, I was like, because they put him right in that match for the world title.
Right. Yeah, the gauntlet thing, right?
Like, yeah, like why? I mean, why him? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
But he is really good.
Yeah, Olympic wrestler, unbelievable talent, also a lot of charisma. I have found him in the last 2 weeks due to the N1 tournament in Noah, and I really enjoyed it, man. He's typical Olympic style wrestler with the suplexes and stuff, which I think is really cool when you make it believable. But he also has that Kurt Angle charisma where it's very it's entertaining. So I really like that. So I got to watch. I've watched some of that stuff, man. The Pro Wrestling Noah N1, which is cool. But the G1 is happening right now. Takeshita unfortunately lost today to Yota Tsuji. So I believe it's going to be Tsuji and Takagi in the finals, which is cool. If you watch Japanese wrestling like I do, it's a cool thing, man. The G1's always a fun tournament because if you go back to the beginning of it, it's an interesting style round robin. Obviously, the Continental Classic is loosely based on the G1. Very similar, right? So I think it's a cool thing, right? For me, I enjoy it. But my question, do you ever think that WWE, obviously they don't, Vince really didn't like tournaments, but the King of the Ring, outside the King of the Ring, but do you think a round robin point style thing could ever work in WWE? For the casual viewers that they try to attract?
I think it could work. I don't know if it's not going to break any records and they did make a big deal this year. I thought they did a really good job with the King and Queen of the Ring tournament.
I thought so too. It was a lot different. I thought that Triple H took a lot of.
It was a big presence on TV for the weeks leading up to it.
Yeah.
And I was glad that the pay-per-view was actually called King and Queen of the Ring. Well, actually, I didn't like the name of it, but I liked it.
I know what you mean, yeah.
So, but, that it was all about that, right?
Sure.
So I think that they did a good job with that. And again, it was cool. And I did like that there were stakes. We got Gunther in the main event for SummerSlam. We got Nia Jax in the main event. Well, not main event, but, the world title match.
Yeah.
And so you're still going into SummerSlam. You're still using King of the Ring that happened 2 months ago as part of your storyline.
Yeah. They've let it linger on, which I really not doing because what they've done in the past years has been really cornball, where they call them King or Queen, whatever.
Right.
And it's like, I didn't really buy that, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I thought that.
No, I think they done, cool. Yeah, if really, I think one of the best jobs they've done in years with the King of the Ring in general.
Yeah.
And whatever. So, yeah, I think it could work. I mean, tournaments are always fun. Like they did a really good job. Like 5 years ago, they did a tournament for the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that's the one Nakamura won, though, right?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
And like the King of the Ring that they did that was also like 5 years ago where Baron Corbin won.
Oh, right.
Granted, his run as king, like,
sure,
he did an okay job with it,
Yeah.
whatever. He came out on the throne and all that. Like, it worked for him. But, like, the whole stuff with Shorty G, well, Shorty G was terrible, right?
Yeah, he said
like,
that was like a. Did you see that thing on? He was on.
I started
Yeah.
the Chris Van Vliet interview. I didn't get that far to where he talks about it.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember them doing a really good job with that, like that whole underdog story, and like where you really thought, holy shit, he may win,
right?
Yeah, I think they did a really good job with that. But anyway, so I was to say all that to say, I think that tournaments can work. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's just a different style. Yeah, I don't need it all the time. I like the G1.
I will say
year,
it confuses. I'm not very familiar with round robin tournaments.
Sure.
Right? Like I know what they are, but I remember watching the Continental Classic, which was like the real first time I'm not a big sports guy.
Sure,
so
I
like,
get it. Yeah.
And I'm like, what in the actual fuck is going on? I had no idea.
It's very odd, too, because the only other sport that I know of, American sport that's really Americanized that uses a point system, is hockey. So you don't. NBA is not round robin. Football's not round robin. None of that stuff. So the round robin tournament is very unique. Again, I like the way New Japan does it because they spread it out over 2 months, or I guess 35 or 40 days, and they don't do they do matches right throughout that thing. So you're seeing different matchups every show that they're doing. So it's a unique it's a unique concept. But anyways, I don't know if it would work in America. That's kind of wise. I don't know that I love the Continental Classic because it is the G1 ripped off, in my opinion. But nonetheless, with that being said, it is time for the headlines. A lot of things happening in wrestling in the past few weeks. And we're going to kick it off with the first headline of Randy Orton resigns for 5 years. The Viper himself, the Legend Killer, is staying in WWE for 5 years. I only said this was a headline because it's interesting, right, that they're announcing how long they're signing for now. I don't know that that's ever really been expressed. I think WWE's done a lot better job managing that from a PR perspective and in a news perspective, right? Is giving the information that the people really need to have, like ESPN or real journalists, right? They need to have. So I find that interesting. But yeah, man, Randy Orton staying with WWE. Obviously, I love Randy Orton. I think he's a great superstar. I kind of wish he was a heel because when he does the babyface thing, he doesn't ever feel like he's trying. He's always kind of like lollygagging around when he's a babyface. He's done this multiple times, I feel like. Because when he's a heel, everything is very deliberate. But no, I'm excited, man. He was just on What Do You Want to Talk About with Cody Rhodes, which I thought was really cool too.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
Yeah, it's I've just started watching it. I thought they were just clips. I didn't realize it was like full length. YouTube thing.
And they're good. Like they're not
good,
like just like a WWE, and like they're like real podcasts, like almost kind of thing.
Agreed. It's
like
got a different spice on it.
The LA Knight one was really good.
I've seen, and that's what I'm saying. So I started to watch these back. And yeah, so it's exciting to see Randy Orton. I think all those things coincide with each other. The way they announce his re-signing, then they announce the podcast, all that stuff. It's very timing. They do everything deliberately. But yeah, man, Randy Orton back for 5 years. What's your thoughts on? I mean, obviously, you're Randy Orton. You don't hate him. What's your thoughts?
I love Randy Orton. First off, I'm just grateful that he's back. I mean, I know we're almost
18 months
into his return. Right? November, unfortunately, will be here before you know it. But so he's been back a while. But I'm still like, it's amazing that he's back because there was a period of time where we did not know. So now not only is he back, but he is going to be around for another 5 years at least.
Yeah.
So that's great.
What's a dream match? What's a dream match for you for Randy Orton right now?
So it's funny. I don't know if it's a dream match because they've happened.
Yeah.
But the two big ones for me are Randy and Gunter is one that I wanted.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. This one's going to be cool.
But I'm excited that it'll, as big as the King of the Ring match was, this one will be
it's twice as big
for the title, main event. Well, maybe main event. I'm not sure.
It's in Berlin. It's got to be main event.
It should be, but you never.
Yeah.
So that was one of them. But Randy and Cody is still up there for me.
That is going to be a good one too. I think when they do that,
and it's almost like it's not meant to be, but friggin' Randy and Roman, it's supposed to have been happening so many times. They wrestled one time, one-on-one, SummerSlam 10 years ago.
Oh,
that was the only time they've ever wrestled one-on-one. Not Evolution versus Shield or any of that.
Yeah.
A one-on-one on a pay-per-view with the one time, and it's just mind-boggling to me. And, that Roman was that Roman, right?
Right.
So this Roman versus Randy Orton is a dream match. And then I know it's crazy, and if you asked me 10 years ago, I would never say it because we had it at nauseum, but Randy and John Cena one more time. That does not happen.
Gotta have it one more time. I bet I would be venture to guess that's actually his last match. That's Cena's last match.
Well, this is what I thought should have been Cena's last match. Cena and Edge. But that obviously
I agree also. Happen. That would have been a cool one too. I was thinking about
I guess you could say Cena and Randy is the bigger feud, but I just felt like the Cena-Edge feud is really...
Well, that was peak of both their careers,
realistically, both of them on the map.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? Or not on the map, but like...
They took over the Ruthless Aggression at that point.
They were really... to that next level. Like, Cena had been champ for about a year by the time they touched.
Oh, yeah, it was that long, right?
And Edge had obviously been Edge for...
Right.
years, whatever the hell it was. But when they fought and they had their feud, that's when they both went from being main eventers to main eventers.
Right, okay.
There's a difference.
Yeah,
you know
I thought I 1000% get it.
So anyway, but yeah, but you know what? Orton and Cena Cena's last match, I think that's fitting as well. So we'll see. It has to happen. See what happens. It has to happen.
I'm interested to see what happens. Yeah, Randy Orton is back, the Viper. All right, next headline is Fanatics Fest is this weekend at the Javits Center. Is it Javits? Is that how
the Javits Center.
Man, I just made that up right off the top of my head. I didn't even know if that was real. I've been watching commercials. The Javits Center, man, host of Fanatics Fest. It looks electric from what I've seen. Michael Rubin posted a bunch of stuff, and I saw that. Obviously, you guys are going to go. What are you? I don't even know what your layout is, but what's your game plan going into Fanatics Fest?
So it's Friday to Sunday. WWE's gonna have a presence there Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I'm going Saturday,
right?
But that's the day we're going. We're not going Sunday. But Saturday, the only meet and greet I'm doing is the CM Punk one.
So you are doing the Punk one. That's what I was going to ask. I didn't know which one.
Punk photo op, not autograph, but Punk photo op, which I'm very excited.
Which is kind of crazy that you just get a photo and not the auto. It's like you're already there. Why? Not you personally. I'm saying why they don't package those together.
And it's a separate line. It's a whole separate thing.
Oh, so he's not even doing.
He does the autograph first earlier in the day, and then it's a separate photo op later on.
Okay.
But that's how they do it with a lot of these conventions. They are separate.
No, I get that they're separate. It's weird to me that it is separate. I get that they do.
They didn't do a combo.
I think that the commercialization or the capitalization of fans to a certain extent is so egregious.
Oh, it is.
And essentially, look, man, I've come from that industry, and I have a lot of friends that do meet and greets, and I get that like it's a stream of money for some sorts, right? I'm more of the Matty Healy thought of it though, where it's like, man, these are your fans. Like I've already charged them to be there. Why am I charging them extra?
You got to pay to get in.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I charging them extra to get a photo and an auto at the same time? For me, like I said, I understand the sentiment of a lot of it too. And the big thing is really like, it's not just these companies abusing it. It is fans abusing as well. It's the same thing with like when you go up to people and you know what their flight are, and all of a sudden you've got 12 Funkos and 6 figures and 8x10s. It's like, what?
So
like I wouldn't sign any of that. Yeah. Like I would be like, absolutely not. But again, man, I'm of the thought that like came from an industry where I'm trying to build fans one at a time. Right. Like for me, I'm doing meet and greet every show, and I'm signing whatever you want me to sign. I'm not now I'm not at that level now. Again, I get, then there's the Matt Cardona thought where it's like, nah, man, I'm out there at the table and I'm making every dime and all these people pay me and this. I'm like, man, I've already been paid to be there. These people paid money to see me play, which is wild. So for me, it's really, really hard. And like I said, just the egregious overcapitalization of this thing is the fact that you can have Fanatics Fest. I mean, just in general, right? What does that say? Like fans want to see these people.
And they sold out. They all sold out.
I know. It's crazy. So yeah, pretty wild. So Fanatics Fest this weekend should be kind of fun then, huh?
Yes,
how many of y'all are going?
There's 3 of us. It's me, Miguel, and Danny.
Oh, Johnny's not going. Oh, that's right. Johnny's on a boat.
He'll be on the boat. But Punk's doing a podcast, Masked Men podcast.
Oh, he's doing the Masked Man one. Yeah, they're great, dude. Kaz and
yeah. So I'm gonna
David. Yeah,
that.
great.
Hopefully, I get in.
Okay.
And then later on, the last thing I'm doing, Paul Heyman's going to be on Not Sam's.
Oh, cool.
Podcast.
So they're doing live podcasts there too and stuff. That'll be fun.
Yeah. So that's the three things: Punk podcast, Punk photo op, and Heyman podcast.
Excellent, man. Should be good, man. Fanatics Fest this weekend. Michael Rubin knows how to tap into that dollar bill. All right, man. Last headline. This one is. I just wanted to chat about your. You weren't on last week. Tell us about your trip to SummerSlam. Give as much detail or as little detail as you want, but no, just tell us the highlights, man. What was your thoughts?
No, I mean, honestly, I've been on a lot of these wrestling trips. Obviously, this was one of the best ones for multiple reasons. I mean, SummerSlam itself was awesome, great show. I thought top to bottom.
Really good.
All the matches I thought were good. I mean, obviously some were better than others, but I thought they all, they were all good in their own right. Good, solid show. I did. So when I got there on Thursday, the first thing I did, first thing I did was went to the Superstore.
We're just talking about getting that dollar bill. Michael Rubin's
last hurrah for me, which I know was supposed to be WrestleMania, but that got pushed back to SummerSlam.
All right.
But this really will be it, at least at the level that I'm at now.
Fair enough.
Doesn't mean I'm not getting anything, but
no, we all gonna still buy stuff.
There's going to be a point that it can't be what I do now. So this is it. But did that, went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which was cool.
Awesome.
It's one of those things you go to Cleveland. I mean, I feel like you have
1,000%. Did they have a main? They always have different, focused artists too. Was there?
So they had a whole 50 years of hip hop exhibit, which for me was cool because
awesome.
I'm a big hip hop person.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see more modern hip hop, not modern in the sense of like the last 10 years, but more like say like late 90s, early 2000s.
Sure.
They had a lot of like old hip hop,
sure, like the OG stuff. Yeah, which started.
But they did have like they had like the suits from Puff Daddy and Mace.
Sick! The puffy suits.
The silver galactic suits. They had those. They had like a DMX outfit. They had Biggie's outfit from the Source magazine cover with the red like button down. And stuff. So that was cool. They had some cool stuff. But anyway, so the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was really cool. They had a whole Bon Jovi. The sixth floor was all.
That's what I thought.
I'm assuming that rotates.
It does.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
So that was cool, Jersey guy, right? So did that. Then I went to a Guardians game that night. That was fun.
How much Fred loves baseball. So.
Oh, I love it. I just was at the edge of my seat the entire game. Edge of my seat, trying to wait and get out.
Who's your favorite baseball player ever?
Wade Boggs.
Okay, that's.
And only because he was friends with Mr. Perfect.
There you go. I knew it had to sometime.
No, actually, my favorite is Pete Rose because he took the tombstone 3 times.
There you go. That's what I was going to say. I was trying to think of, remember that WWF superstar? Or he was a WWF like kind of jobber during the New Generation.
Knuckleball Schwartz?
Knuckleball Schwartz.
Bruce.
Who played him?
Oh my God, Brooklyn Brawler.
Okay.
Steve Lombardi.
Yeah. Amazing. Sorry, go ahead though.
No. So but it was cool. When in Rome. So it was cool to see a guard. I did a Tigers game last year in Detroit.
Awesome.
So it's kind of the last couple of years now. It's kind of been a thing. Like Nashville, I would have done one maybe, but
sure. Well, we don't have a major league team, but our AAA team's a lot of fun.
Vegas didn't have one. But SummerSlam now. Maybe that might be a thing I start doing. Cool. Anyway, so did that Thursday night. Friday, Smackdown. Which was cool. Did this Damian Priest thing earlier in the day. That was awesome. The documentary premiere. And then Friday night after SmackDown, Sami Zayn does Cleveland, which I didn't know what to expect. I was going into it kind of like it's only the second one he's done.
Sure.
Got to check it out. Really no expectations.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it was a really fun time. Like, if he continues to do them, which I have a feeling he will. Yeah. And you haven't been, I do recommend it. Cool. That's not to say I'm going to go to everyone he does like I do Undertaker, but that's a different story. But like, I would definitely recommend it, and I would go again.
Awesome.
That was cool, and I got to go on stage. That's
what I was going to say.
So there was a promo contest that they did, where Kathy Kelly asks you a question. You're given a character kind of, and so I was given a character, and I was facing an opponent. Renthouse Rick was my opponent, and I was the gentrified one or whatever, I forget my name was. And I cut a whole promo, and did okay. This little kid won. He just was dressed up as Jey Uso and just did the yeet. He didn't even really enter, but it was cute. And of course, the kid was going to win. But
sure,
everybody was coming up to me after, so that was fun.
It's a good time.
There was no prize or anything, so I was kind
of a neat deal.
It was cool to be on stage, and Road Dogg was up there judging, so that was cool.
Amazing.
So I got to meet Sammy and Road Dogg.
I'm gonna give you 2 points just for that. I thought that was great.
So that was only the beginning, though. So Saturday,
here's where it really gets electric.
Saturday is a day I'll never forget. While SummerSlam was great, it won't be for SummerSlam. Went to my 8th Undertaker One Dead Man show, awesome. Which is laughable, I know, and it will not be my last.
Look, to each their own, baby.
8th and not the last, but I'll say this: it was worth going to the 8th one because he decided for the first time ever in his show to do an impersonation contest on stage. And the wrestling gods, not JBL, but the wrestling gods were looking down upon me, and I got picked for this one as well. 2 days in a row now I get picked.
It knew it was your last big trip. It knew. It
must have been. It must, they must have known. And I got picked. I chose Stone Cold.
Obviously.
And how this one worked is now you pick who you're going to do, and Undertaker will give you the scenario.
Okay.
So it's me and 2 other guys. I choose Stone Cold. My scenario was that I just got back from the doctor and I found out I have an STD and I have to call my wife. Right? That's what I'm doing. So now this is all. So I was up first. So it's like you're given this. Taker tells you this, and now I got to cut a promo based on this as Stone Cold. Okay. Right on the fly, and at least the Stone Cold part I was comfortable with. So I just went on this whole rant where I was like running down my wife about like that, accusing her that she gave me the STD.
Incredible.
And the crowd was going nuts for it. I felt electric.
I love it.
I had a good feeling.
Yeah.
Then the guy after me did Macho Man, and he was okay. He
sucked. I don't like him. It doesn't matter. Fuck him.
The third guy totally dropped the ball. He got booed off the stage.
Who was he? Who did he pick?
He picked Macho Man as well, but he might as well pick nobody because he didn't even really do Macho Man. He says to Taker, "Let's do a shot right now." Taker obviously says no. And the guy takes a swig of the Jack Daniels bottle that Taker has and just takes a swig of it. And I thought Taker was going to throw him off.
I didn't hear this part. This is incredible.
Oh, you didn't hear that? Yes.
No. Okay.
The crowd is booing the shit out of him. Taker is clearly pissed, but he doesn't do anything. I thought he was going to be like, get off the stage.
Yeah.
But, there were kids in the audience, so he probably wanted to keep it chill. Yeah. So I was at least like, all right, well, I know it's down to me
and Macho Man. Yeah.
I had a good feeling. But let me backtrack a little bit. So before I do my promo, now I don't know there's going to be any prizes or anything.
Right, you're just doing it because you're like, I'm in.
Right, because I like to do
you're living
stuff,
it up,
right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking it is what it is, but it'd be cool to win. I mean, I know I didn't win the night before, but the night before, like I said, there were no prizes.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, they come out. Taker says, and now Victoria's also on stage. They brought Victoria. She was sitting in the front. They brought her up, and she was one of the judges.
Cool.
So she's involved, and she shows off this Undertaker One Dead Man show shirt. Third place is going to get this shirt. I'm like, oh, cool. They're going to give stuff away. All right, cool. Whatever. I have that shirt already.
Right.
Second place, going to get the Undertaker One Dead Man show program. Cool. I have the program.
Sure.
But he said he'll sign it after. Sure. So I'm like, all right, well,
excellent.
I have it, but I have it signed. Cool. Now I'm thinking in my head, what the fuck is first place going to be? Like, they were selling like these little urns that I wanted to buy, but it was sold out by the time I got up there.
Sure.
But I thought, maybe they had another one and they're going to give that. I don't know. I'm thinking what.
Right. You're just like whatever.
So Taker says, and first place is going to be me. If you win, you get to go in the back with me after the show and do a shot of Jack Daniels with me.
That's incredible.
So now my leg is literally shaking. I'm already a little like, hyped up, whatever.
This is the greatest story ever.
Now my leg is shaking uncontrollably,
yeah.
Right? And I'm like, now there is no, it's first place or nothing.
Right.
There is no third. There is no second.
Right.
I'm winning this shit.
Yeah.
So I go into it with that. So anyway, now back to I do mine.
Sure.
So suffice to say, all that to say, I ended up winning. Before they even got to me, the crowd is chanting Stone Cold, Stone Cold, Stone Cold. So I was like, all right. And then they said, and I won. Now I'm like, holy shit. So they tell security will come and get me after the show.
Sure.
I never wanted the Undertaker One Dead Man show to be over so fast in my life.
He's like, I gotta hang out with a dead man. I love it.
Yeah. So I mean, the rest of the show was good, but the whole time I'm just like, okay, come on, let's just get this over with, right? You know. And the other cool part about this that I didn't mention, so in my promo I say about I had 1 beer, 2 beer, 3 beer, 4. I did the whole thing. I said, goddamn, I'm kind of thirsty right now, and. So Taker, as on top of the Jack Daniels bottle, he also always has a bucket of Coors Light.
Oh, okay. He's a Coors guy. I didn't know that.
I guess he's a Coors Light guy, yeah, because that's what he always.
Shout out to Coors.
Yeah, shout out to Coors. So he gives me one.
This is incredible.
So Taker gives me a beer on stage.
Dude, you're literally. I did not know this. I think you only told this part to Miguel.
I may have. Yes. And Art had called me.
Okay.
And wanted all the. Maybe I skipped. I was
incredible. It's incredible.
So now I have a. Undertaker gives me a beer on stage from his bucket. So I pop it open. I was almost going to do
the Stone Cold.
The Stone Cold gimmick. But 2 things. One, I was like, I don't know about getting beer all over this stage.
Yeah, smart.
2,
smart.
I really want to get beer all over me.
And have to sit there.
I had very limited amount of time from the show to SummerSlam. Didn't really feel like showering and all that.
Okay.
So I was like, let's just. But I did go. I put the beer to the crowd, and I just took whatever. And then I brought the rest of the beer back to my seat when I went back. So anyway, everybody's all like, high fiving me when whatever. And after the show, they bring me back. I meet him. We chat a little bit. We do the shot. I say to a great career. So he did a shot of Jack Daniels with the Undertaker.
Unbelievable.
And then after that, he says, "Actually, I'm done with this. I don't need this anymore," meaning the Jack Daniels bottle. Takes out a Sharpie. I'm like, oh shit. He signs the Jack Daniels bottle, hands it to me, and says, "This is mine." So now I have a bottle of Jack Daniels that we took a shot from, signed by the Undertaker.
That's pretty awesome, man.
You had asked, and I actually told this to Undertaker.
Yeah.
So you had asked me on the podcast. I believe it was the last podcast I was on.
Okay.
What's my most
your prized possession. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe I had told you my end of an era plaque.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I tell Taker this story. I said I didn't say about the pie.
No, obviously,
He said a buddy of mine asked me not that long ago, like, what's my favorite prized possession? I said an end of an era plaque from your WrestleMania that Shop sold. And I said, but now this takes the cake. So that is now my
awesome,
most
man.
prized possession.
That's really cool.
When I tell you, man, my asshole was puckered that whole flight. Because I obviously I couldn't carry it on.
Yeah, check it.
I had to check it. So I had that. I looked all over for bubble wrap. Couldn't get bubble wrap.
Yeah, on a Sunday, you're like, oh, fuck, where can I get this?
So, but I
every sweatshirt shirt you
towels like a son of a
yeah, incredible.
Per Victoria. I don't want to put her on blast, but per Victoria's suggestion, I took a couple of towels from the hotel.
Yeah.
And wrapped shit out of them.
Shout out to the La Quinta.
Yeah. And as soon as I got my bag in the airport, I unzipped
it. Yeah.
And looked at it.
That's incredible,
she
man.
made it home. And I'm very
just an excellent. Honestly, man, if you guys don't know Fred, he's obviously he's a huge Taker fan. It's not even the biggest part. He's just like such a wrestling guy that it's such a cool thing that he's got to do a lot of cool shit. Incredibly that look, very rarely do people meet their favorite wrestler, their favorite person, and get to have that interaction that they didn't have to pay for. Like that's the thing I'm just talking about, right? Like the fan fest, like you had an actual genuine experience with your favorite, with someone who's like had such an impact on your life, right?
And that's the thing. And this is what I've told a couple of people. So I haven't noticed it the last couple of One Dead Man shows, and they didn't do it in the very beginning. But for a string of One Dead Man shows, they, as an add-on to your tickets, and you already bought your ticket.
Oh, right.
Even if you bought a VIP meet and greet ticket, which was $500 some, $700 some, as an add-on for like close to $2,000, like $1,700, $1,800, depending on the show. And this is not even including fees, right? I don't even know what the fees would be. But as an add-on to your ticket, you can go on stage and do a shot with the Undertaker.
Wow.
And I remember being like, oh man.
Yeah. Dude, this is way better. You didn't pay for it. This is way better.
I was like, that is way. I said maybe if it was a few hundred, I would do it. I said that's a once in a lifetime to go on stage and do a shot of Jack with Undertaker. I said, but I just can't spend that.
Even better, you get to do it backstage.
Right? So that's what I was. So as cool as that is, not only was I on stage with Undertaker, I got to do a shot with him privately in the back.
Yeah,
just me and him and like the one WWE.
That's incredible.
Guy,
yeah,
and then get the bottle. And I mean,
unheard of. Yeah.
It was,
dude. I mean, that bottle is priceless at this point. Like, there is no let's just say you had to sell it. It's priceless. Right. That is unheard of. There are no more of those out there. In my opinion.
We took a picture together.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Bottle, which is cool. So what I'm going to do is for my apartment that I'm moving into, I bought a big wine rack that I was going to display the Undertaker bottle of wine on it.
Right? Oh yeah.
So even though he's made fun of his own wine, that it's terrible, but whatever. I'm going to put that now. I'm going to put that up there with the Jack Daniels bottle next to it, and I'm going to develop the picture and put that like right near there.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So anyway, so that was all before SummerSlam, and then SummerSlam obviously happened. That was a great time. Went out Saturday night. I won't get into details, but that was a good time.
It's awesome.
And then Sunday. There's a day left, but before I left, one last run. I did the Christmas Story house, which was a blast. That was really and it was only $18 to tour. It was really they did a really nice job with that. There's a museum across the street.
Yep.
On top of the house.
Oh, cool.
So it was a great experience. So yeah. So
this man took in all that Cleveland had. He took it all.
I did. And if you go to Cleveland, I do recommend the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I do recommend the Christmas Story house if you're a fan of Christmas Story.
Yeah, man, like I said, dude. Fred had a big adventure in Cleveland, and
we know that I pack a lot of shit.
I wanted him to tell that story, so.
But with all the other things that happened, it was
that's
just
awesome,
man. An amazing week.
Well deserved, because like I said, a lot of us fans and fans of the sport or friends of the thing, we don't even get to experience that with our friends. So it's very cool. All right, man. Well, with that being said. It is we're gonna get on with it. Raw and SmackDown highlights. I wanted to kick this off. There's a lot going on, right? Obviously, with Raw and SmackDown. There's so much. It's hard to just like talk about one thing. So what's your favorite parts of what's your favorite part of SmackDown and what's your favorite part of Raw storylines right now that you're excited about?
Those are actually very easy for me. There is a lot going on, and one thing I will say, because I wasn't on last week, I think one thing that they did great with SummerSlam is it felt like. You always look forward to the Raw after a pay-per-view, but it felt like remember years ago where at least, or maybe it was because we were younger, I don't know, but like you couldn't wait for Raw the next night after the pay-per-view
because we didn't have access to everything on the internet night of, right? So we're like, we have to know what happened last night if we missed it.
So like I felt like that though, like I couldn't wait for Raw on Monday.
Yeah, they've done a great job,
and you had to wait the extra day now, whatever. But like I thought they did a great job with. Like waiting for Raw to like what's going to happen next, right? So anyway, so my favorite thing's going on right now, the whole Rhea Dom Liv situation, and the whole Finn and Damian thing, the whole Judgment Day split is my favorite thing going on Raw, and my favorite thing on SmackDown obviously is the Roman return and the whole Bloodline thing. So we got. I mean, there's other things that I'm interested in, but.
Let me ask you something.
Those are two main things.
Realistically, are you excited about the Wyatt Six still with everything else that's going on? And there's a lot going on in both the shows. Do you really feel like you're excited about Wyatt Six right now?
So I think they are in just a bad time because there is so much going on, and they weren't a part of SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
I agree. They did a great job on that Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam to tell you why. And I that made way more sense after they told you that. See, I didn't ever see it notified before that. Like I thought, other than until someone else mentioned it, but then they didn't even talk about it on WWE until that, and I was like, oh, okay, this makes way more sense. 10 years
right. It is, so that worked.
Sure.
And I think they're doing a good job. We discussed this. They needed to get in the ring. Yeah. Right. Could have they waited longer? Sure, but it had to happen.
I don't know if they could have waited any longer. I don't know, unless they were going to keep terrorizing.
Some people think that it was too soon. Some people think it was too late. There's no perfect.
Sure,
but I think it needed. I felt like it did need to happen because as good as the vignettes are and everything, eventually you got to get in the ring. And I thought they did a really good job with the in-ring presentation.
Yeah, I did agree with that too. I thought in-ring, I was like, okay, they did a good job.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it still. It's not to say I'm not enjoying it anymore, but I just think with everything else going on, it just can't help but get put
Sure.
to the side a little bit.
Agreed. Yeah, I think
I
you're
thought the
always going to
Monday,
have a top story,
right?
right? Like they say this in sitcoms and in shows is that you have to give all your characters story. And that's one of the things they focused on during The Office and signed like great sitcoms. Everyone has a story in and of itself, right? And so, but there's always the one main story, which is what the episode is about. That's where Raw is at right now. The main story is Judgment Day, Split, Live, the whole thing. That is the main story. You have the second story being Punk and Drew, obviously. Still,
oh yeah, that's a great thing too.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously still up there. Then you have but then there's so
Gunter
many little stories.
Gunter and Randy now doing their
exactly
thing.
Gunter. So and then you have these small stories, right? You have the New Day thing. You have the obviously
Eddie Niall and Maxine and the whole Creed brothers with Otis and
that's what I'm saying. So there's a lot of things going on. I
think they're doing the best with that they've done in years, because for a long time it was only the main event and like the other stuff.
1,000%. They have struggled for years
making
us care about the undercard.
About the undercard.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Right.
So right
now, the main event scene I felt like was always decent.
It's always because we love the stars, right? There's always going to be those guys. I agree. What I'm saying, the undercard has been, and look, it's not the worst. It's just it's underachieved because we just don't care. I mean,
look, even the Intercontinental title's got a story. The whole Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker 100%. Thing. Everything has.
Their 3 hours is very good,
which
I can't believe I'm saying.
I think they were capable of having
1,000%.
3 hour Raw. That I just thought it was too long. Now I still think 3 hours is long.
It's way too. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't fast forward through stuff. I do 1,000%. But the stories are still agreed.
They've done since they went 3 hours in 2012.
1,000. Damn, it's been that long. Think about the 12 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, the Raw 1000 was the first one. I mean, they used to do specials here and there that were 3 hours.
It's crazy. Now here's my other question about as good as Raw is. How bad is SmackDown otherwise outside of the top thing? I just think it is.
Now, I mean, you're gonna hate this comment, but with Roman Reigns back,
I get it. No, you're fine. Yeah,
I think that has last week's SmackDown and this week's SmackDown coming up. He's on is going to make SmackDown a lot better.
See, this is my thing though. Cody is the top, so I'm always saying that outside of the top stuff, like Cody and Solo or Cody and Kevin and Cody, all those that's been great.
Stuff, the build up to SummerSlam, I thought was
I did too. I 100%. The other hour and 38 minutes that they spend on SmackDown has been like
Jade and Bianca and all the women, they're just spinning their wheels over there.
Dude, so bad.
The LA Knight and Logan Paul program was good.
I did too. I thought that was good. I did think.
But now I don't know what we're going to do.
My thing is there's always these specks of things that are happening that are also good. The Andrade Carmelo thing was cool at first, but now I don't know what they're doing.
Now it's like a third. Logan
and LA Knight
and Carmelo match.
Right. I'm like, okay. And LA Knight and Logan Paul is cool, but now LA Knight's beat him, and I'll be honest, I don't really care about Logan Paul for a while. Like, he can go away.
I don't think Logan Paul is going to be on TV for a period of time.
Yeah.
So LA Knight, I'm trying to think. Did he do it? I don't forget what he did on SmackDown.
He just cut that promo talking about he's the guy.
Okay, he didn't start anything new, right? He didn't jump in anything new.
He's just saying he's that guy. They're having the number one contender thing. That's where Andrade and Carmelo thing happened again.
Okay, yes.
Like I said, I think my biggest thing is there's things that I hate so much, which make me a little bit more jagged edge towards that. Like the Bianca Jade thing, I hate. I love Jade so much, but she feels so. I feel like she's having a hard time adjusting. She was such a star in AEW, where when she was in the ring, she felt like she was bigger than everybody else, right?
Yeah.
Now on WWE, I feel like when she's in there, she's looking around a little bit, and it feels like I want her to just be as confident as she was. It feels really weird right now. And the Bianca thing, and then so the whole tag thing is just whatever. I also think that the men's tag thing sucks. I don't understand Theory and him at all anymore. I don't get that.
That needs to end, which I think it will.
Why hasn't it? It should have ended. Yeah. They should have wrestled at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But the problem is neither one of them are good baby faces. They both have the worst faces of all time, where everybody wants to punch them, right?
And that's the thing. I don't, because obviously Theory's going to be the face out of this. But I don't see either one being a baby face.
Theory as a face is a terrible idea. I mean, he has the most punchable face of all time.
Yeah, I don't.
That was my whole point, though. Is that I feel like Raw has really got. I wish they would have split some of those Raw stories and gave them to the SmackDown stories.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I'm nitpicking right now because WWE's on fire. I'm really nitpicking at.
And I guess you could really look. I mean, but no, it's true. But I think Raw is a better overall variety.
Yeah.
Right? Where SmackDown, their bread and butter is everything Bloodline related, and everything else.
Which is fine too. They got there's 6 members of them, so that's fine to have it. Like they have 6 members. So I'm not knocking.
So
that.
I think maybe that's their theory. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Is SmackDown basically is a Bloodline, and everything else kind of is what it is. Whereas Raw is a much more mixed, kind of thing. But as a general show, I think Raw is better.
Yeah, which is crazy right now because SmackDown is on a national TV station that is accessible by every human being in the United States.
And I also am not so sure if they're like saving stuff for when they go back to USA.
Yeah, USA, Netflix, all that stuff.
So
well, that's good. With that piece of the Bloodline, right? Obviously being I didn't stop sharing, did I?
Thank God. I mean, I know, but thank God Roman's back because now that's.
I agree. Well, yeah, I think they've done a good job continuing that bloodline and milking that story for everything it is.
They really have.
And look, like I said, I've said this since Roman left. His pop at SummerSlam was gonna be generational. It's gonna be huge. What he does after, I don't necessarily know that I care. But as long as he just comes in and starts throwing punches, I don't want to hear him. Look, y'all can say what you want. He's shit on the mic. He's just not good on that's my opinion. But I don't like him. I love Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's done a great job of continuing that story. And so all of that stuff to say,
his bump was a huge turning point in the whole thing.
Exactly. So my dream bloodline scenario, and the reason I wanted to ask you this is my dream bloodline scenario is that it finally does end with whatever they do next. Because as much as it's cool now, bringing in Zilla Fatu might be cool. Bringing in Hikuleo is going to be cool. But there's only so much more you can do, man. There's just for me, like it's got to play out at some point, right? Like it's not.
You would think so, but I thought it was going to be kind of over after WrestleMania.
Sure, that makes sense.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but so that's my dream bloodline scenario is that they find a new wrinkle to doing something completely different as they move forward. I do think Jacob Fatu is a stud. If you guys have seen that picture on Twitter that's going around of him in his last Major League Wrestling appearance versus when he debuted, I've said this also like in the chat. I was like, look, this dude lost a shit ton of weight when he showed up in WWE. He looks like he is ready to take over the world.
He's going to be a big time, I think.
Yeah,
and I like
which is cool.
Him and Roman right now.
I agree too. I think keeping them separate is cool. So that's my dream bloodline scenario. What is yours?
So I mean, it's funny. Obviously, I'm excited for whenever they do Roman and Solo.
Yeah.
But like after seeing what we saw at SummerSlam, now I can't believe I'm saying this. I mean, obviously, I do want Roman and Rock to fucking happen.
Yeah.
It wasn't right for this year.
Sure.
But now I do want to see it. But with that being said, I want a Roman Cody match again.
Yeah.
Even babyface versus babyface. Because the way they ended SummerSlam.
SummerSlam was cool.
I love the way that Cody was staring at Roman as he made the pin.
Yeah.
And Roman, I didn't see this live.
Obviously until afterwards, right?
But where he says, that's mine. I forget what he announced. That's mine. I'm gonna come. I'm gonna get it.
I'll come back for that or something.
Yeah. So I think there's money on the table for another Roman Cody.
Oh,
match.
there's 1,000% got to be a rubber match. Yeah, you're talking about the two biggest stars for sure.
Yeah. So that, as much as I want Roman and Solo, right out of this, which I do, what I'm looking forward to most now is another Roman Cody match.
So what's your So do you is your hope that they do guerrilla warfare or whatever? Not guerrilla.
Oh yes,
warfare.
I do want that at Survivor
Series. Tribal combat in the cage, war games.
I want war games with the old bloodline versus new bloodline. And what I want, this is what I want. I want Sami Zayn to be the 4th member.
Man, that would be sick, wouldn't it?
Because I think how ironic, how full circle.
Yeah.
That's how important he was to the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Like, you could throw Cody in there, right? And you have, the Usos and Roman and Cody versus, the new Bloodline. And that would make sense. But I don't know. I just think, especially, I think there's a reason why they're putting Jay and
1,000%. 1,000%.
A little bit,
yeah,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
So I would personally like Roman, Usos, and Sammy versus Jacob, Solo, Tama, and unfortunately, by proxy, Tongaloa. But
damn, I'm telling you, he's trolling us. Tongaloa is.
He's got it. He can't be that bad, right?
There's no way he gets on the internet ever. There's no way he has a phone and hasn't seen every meme about him. He's got to be doing it on purpose. I at this point, it'd have to be because there's no one that bad. They wouldn't put him on. There's no way Triple H is like back then. Like, what are you doing? He's gotta
he
be
wouldn't get signed by.
He's definitely being like, yo, egg it on, continue, don't. Because everyone's seen
people talking.
Everyone's seen the famous G1 clip with him and Okada where he chops at him, but he never hits him, and he's just like doing this dance move. Everyone's seen that. So it's like everyone knows, and I get it. It's cool if that's what they're doing. I mean, hey, shout out to H if he sees it online and he's like, we should do this.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, man. That's a good one, man. We went through the topic. There's a lot of things happening in Fred's.
A lot of things happening.
We got to catch up one-on-one. I like it.
Good.
All right. Up next is, again, this is something that I've come up with that I really enjoy, is the randomizer. And today we talk a lot about repackaging and things that aren't working for people and different stuff like that and all of those things. The random question of the week is, if you could repackage and strap the rocket to anybody in WWE right now to send them to the top, who would it be? And what would you repackage them as?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'll start since I'm going to give you a minute to think about it. I am going to say, and the reason this is pertinent is the repackage thing. And I would repackage Chad Gable and the Creed brothers as a better name. Everyone knows I hate it's the god awfulest fucking tag team name of all time. They were just like, we'll call them this. It's terrible. But what I would really do is I would repackage them as a top heel. I think that they got a Raw deal to start off with already because they lost to the Wyatt Six. They got attacked. They lost that feud already. Now they're going to beat American Alpha, maybe, and that's not really a thing. Ivy Niles really getting the rub on that deal. So I would repackage them as a straight-up shoot wrestling team. I would do better. Their music's okay. The gimmick, though, the American-made thing, like I said, it's cornball as shit.
Yeah, American Made. I don't love the name. It's not worse than the fucking.
Yes, it is. You talking about the Collective?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's way better. The Fusion.
You think
whatever.
So?
Yeah, dude. Dude, that's fucking way better than American Made. American Made is the god awfulest.
It's not good. I don't know. I just
so
the other
bad,
one.
Dude.
The other one I think is the worst. It's almost as bad as the Viking Experience.
That was terrible too. But they didn't want to call them the War Raiders, so they were like, "Let's call the Viking Experience."
Viking Experience, and they changed it like that.
They changed it the next week to Viking Raiders. But anyways, that's what I would do. So I would I not necessarily change their look, but I would change the way that they were packaged, and I would strap the rocket because I do think Chad Gable is a. Whoa, that was weird. I do think Chad Gable is a star, man. I think he has delivered on every single thing you've thrown at him. Mm-hmm. He's delivered.
Oh,
You can't sit here and tell me that you don't see him and remind you immediately of Kurt Angle when he talks.
No.
Every vignette he cuts, he looks like Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
The more he loses his hair, he looks like Kurt Angle. I'm like, dude, this guy is got to be.
He's
great
on the mic. He's talented. He's versatile. Like as far as funny.
Yeah.
Serious.
Exactly.
I think he's amazing.
That's where I would strap
like
that rocket.
Brothers together.
And I love the Creed brothers. I think they do not have good taste in gear, because one thing that Gable and Jordan had was great gear as a tag team, and the Creed brothers gear just looks kind of strange to me. But anyway,
the singlets are like too long. Like they're like
it's a little weird, right?
And then and I don't know.
So that's who I would strap the rocket to. I'd not necessarily repackage completely. I would definitely change the name, but I would strap the rocket to him because I just think he deserves one run as a singles guy with that great group. I thought World's Greatest Tag Team was one of my favorite things back in the day, man. When they first came out, I'd never seen anything like that. Not since the Varsity Club was cool in the 80s and very early 90s, but I'd never, ever seen that done. the wrestling thing. And
well,
I thought that was so cool.
I have I get a very big, obviously, team angle feel with this,
sure,
right?
Yeah, of course.
Hell, I would have just called it Team Gable. I don't know.
That's what I'm. There's got to be a
that's
look.
too copy,
the fact that they never called them American Shoot Club, which is what they were originally going to call American Alpha, supposedly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but because of the whole school shooting thing, they didn't want to call them that. And I always thought American Shoot Club was like the coolest fucking name of all time.
They could have called them American Males and just copied Bagwell and what's his name?
Scotty Riggs.
Scotty Riggs. There you go. American
Anyways, that's who I would have done.
That's what the song should just be. American made.
That's what someone said on Twitter, and I was like, "That's 100% it."
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's who I'd strap the rocket to. What about you?
I'm still so. I don't know at this point what we repackage him to, but we've talked about this in the chat. I just feel like something's not clicking with Karrion Kross, and I thought this Final Testament maybe would be it. I like AOP. I like that they brought Paul Ellering back. I mean him. I thought I was excited for them to do something. I thought, okay, maybe this will be it, and this just isn't it.
It's bad. Someone said, "Damn, they got 2 managers and don't neither one of them talk."
Yeah. So I would say repackage Karrion Kross, but at this point, I don't know with what.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I have nothing.
Let me ask you something. If you did repackage him, let's say you had an idea, would you strap the rocket to Karrion Kross?
I think he has.
I thought he was
potential.
I think he was so good. Like I said this in chat. He is incredible backstage. He actually is believable. He's kind of actorish. He's got a very good cadence. He's
a big movie buff. And he does a lot. You could tell he takes a lot from movies.
Yeah. But that bell has to ring, and I don't know, man. It just doesn't click like you said.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think, and that's the thing. I mean, listen, is he Carl Gotch? No,
but he can go in the ring. Normally,
do I think he's bad in the ring? No, he's not. He's not Giant Gonzalez.
I just think he's been bad. I think he's been bad with the matches he's been in. Is my problem in the main roster? Yeah,
but so I'll ask you, at this point, what do you repackage him as? What can they possibly do that's better than what they've done with? I mean, obviously they could do anything, but what I mean is, what magic gimmick can they give him that'll make him finally get over?
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think he has. There's just something I can't. I don't know. So maybe he's not. Maybe he doesn't have it, right?
Yeah.
If he can't,
maybe he just doesn't have it. Maybe he's just the side. He looks like it.
It's just there's something. I felt like because he was getting there in NXT, in his original run, and then obviously we know what happened.
Yeah, I think he got the bad shake, and then that causes the shanks, man. It's like golf.
And then when they brought him back, I thought, okay, this is going to be big because he came right after
Lashley.
Was that who he first?
Yeah.
No, in 2022, he first came back. Drew, right? He feuded with Drew.
Okay, yeah, that's
Smackdown.
right.
And he stared down with Roman.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit! And I could see a Roman, and
dude, 1,000%. He has.
I'm not saying to Karrion Kross now.
He definitely has some undeniable thing. Yes. They just have not narrowed it down to get it done.
Is he too far gone?
Yeah, right now I think he is.
But look.
I think he almost is better off to leave again.
10 years ago, Drew was fucking strumming a fake guitar, and look at him now,
That's
right?
What I'm saying.
Nobody's ever too far gone, but
right. We'll see what happens.
If Drew got past that, but it's just so that is it's a terrible answer because I don't really have an answer. But my answer would be Karrion Kross, but I don't know what I would do.
Fair enough.
So
yeah, it's a good question.
Triple H, help me out.
Yeah, if you're watching, if you're listening on iTunes or if you're watching on YouTube. Bruce. Somebody comment. Let us know.
We want to
we want to know, man. Who would you repackage and strap the rocket to? If you were booking right now. All right, we're gonna skip one thing. We're gonna go to our last one this week. It is One Has to Go. And I love to stump you, man. I've been thinking all day. I was at the dentist's office. I was getting my teeth. I'm like, man, how can I stump Freddie Fresh? So, you know what I mean? And I was like, what?
Is Isaac Ingham going to be on this list? I'd get rid of his right away.
Surprisingly, he's not. However, it is One Has to Go. The greatest theme songs.
Oh, man.
And they're not the greatest theme song. Look, obviously, there's a million great theme songs. Me being in the music thing, it's always like one of the first questions that comes up. Man, what's your favorite theme song? All that stuff. I do love the theme music. It's a huge part of why I love WWE. A huge part of why I love pro wrestling is wrestling theme music. But These are some of the greatest ones according to people I know. So I thought one has to go theme music. In the top left, you've got HBK, Sexy Boy. In the top right, we've got that glass-shattering Stone Cold. In the bottom left, it is the Taker Gong. And in the bottom right, it is the Ones Up for Roman Reigns. One has to go WWE themes. Freddie, one has to go. See, the thing is, I made this kind of difficult for you because it's 4 that you really like, right? So it'd be really hard to get rid of one. For me, there's 2 that I immediately hate, and I have to be stuck with one of them. So I'm like, fuck, which one am I going to be stuck with? So I thought it would be a good one. So one has to go. Which one are you getting rid of?
Well, all right. Obviously, Taker is not getting rid of. That's a foregone conclusion.
Hey, let me ask you something before. Does he come out to the gong when he does Dead Man Show? Does he like?
He comes out to American Badass. There is a gong in the beginning, but he comes out to American Badass.
Cool.
Oh no, he came out to Roland this last week.
Okay.
But with like the worst. It was like an indie show fucking video. Like the screen had like it was like the most distorted like rolling like music video. It was so pixelated.
Okay.
I was like, this is not a WWE production right now. Like it was like
someone's getting fired.
Some jerk off literally just found a rolling music video on YouTube that like hilarious. Literally looked like it was from 2001. But anyway, so he came out to Roland, but so that's not going.
Okay.
Stone Cold is, I mean, that theme is that glass breaks. I mean, it's
over. I know. Business. Yeah.
Sean, I can't go against Sean. That theme music has been one of my favorites for years. This is going to kill me to do it, but as much as I love the Roman Reigns theme song, that one's got to go. That one's got to go.
Oh man. Amazing. I finally got him to hate on one Roman thing. I got rid of one of them. All right. Man, one has to go. He's getting rid of Roman. I am also, and I'll tell you why I'm going to get rid of Romans, and I have said this a lot, is that it is, if you speed it up, it is basically Bobby Lashley's music. It's not really my thing, but I'll tell you I'm not a huge Taker theme music thing because he changed it so much that I liked that he changed it a lot. Like, I was actually into that it kind of changed quite a bit. So the initial one was always like a scary, I was a kid, right? I was like, oh my God, that thing. So for me, I wasn't a huge Taker fan of the music, but I always liked when it got to the thing. Once it got past the gongs and dun dun, the whole thing, it was awesome. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, the Roman thing, I just don't think it's that good. I know a lot of people like it. I'm like, this is basically Bobby Lashley's dun dun. The whole thing when Lashley does the arm thing. I'm like, this is the same music. But all that to say, his new music is significantly better. I will say
as much as I love the original one, I do like this one even better.
Yeah, I will say this one. This is all, and like I said, also like with The Rock's Final Boss where they did the intro production. They still have not put. There's not much change to the music. It's really
it's not.
It's not the music. It's the production. Yeah, it's the way that they did the production. Which I am surprised but he probably is like, well, I want 78%. And Spotify's like, well, I'm not giving you anything. And honestly, I would be willing to bet that Spotify does have a say in that part. Like, that is part of why Rock is like, I'm not releasing it.
Now, like the Roman Reigns one, they put on YouTube yesterday. Like,
but so the royalties off YouTube, and I'll give you some background information. The royalties off YouTube are significantly better.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's significantly better. Spotify is the worst paying of all of them, next to Pandora. Pandora pays the least, but Pandora is also really a free thing. But yeah, Spotify. So I will tell you that I do think potentially The Rock and them haven't come to an agreement on splits, and that's why he's like, I don't want it to go out.
I didn't realize it was that. Yeah.
Wow. Because I would venture to guess that $7 production probably owns that theme music for him now. That new version of it. They
may, they very well may.
So I would say that might be a part. Again, that's just me like making just basic information that I have in town. But all right, man. Well, we were just going back and forth. I was just kind of throwing out points for fun, so we didn't have a winner today. But man, big episode. Fred had a huge time in Cleveland. Thank you for sharing that story.
I took up half the show with my story.
No, dude, that was look, man. That's 100%. I was listening to, it kind of goes back to this. I was listening to the Jarrett podcast from last week, and it's called The Year Was 1987.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I don't know if you listened to that, but he was talking about
I listen to his every week. I love his podcast.
Him and his dad, and they were having a conversation about watching WrestleMania 3 and how WrestleMania 3 had everything. It had the greatest match of all time, plus it also had the show and all that stuff. And it was like, wrestling really is this collection of, why can't it be everything? Right? Which is why we always talk about that. Like, it's like, I love AEW and WWE because I love the wrestling, but I love the spectacle of WWE. For a long time, it felt like WWE didn't care at all about the matches. They only cared about the spectacle, which is great. Cool. Get it. But that's why it's cool to have an alternative. That's why I love Japanese wrestling, because it's less about the spectacle, more about the sport version of it. And so it's cool to have the podcast, man. This week we got to talk. We got the whole spectacle of it this week. So
we sure did.
I really enjoyed it, man. Actually, I really enjoyed the story too. Hearing it back a second time fully was really good. So thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, of course, my pleasure, brother.
Well, this has been Around the Mat, man. I am PJ North. That is Freddie Fresh. Join us next week. It's all AEW as we're going all in. So sorry, Freddie, you are not invited. But we'll have some neckbeards in here. Yeah, we'll have some neckbeards in here talking all things all in. Next week as AEW heads to Wembley, big week. So join us next time as we go Around the Mat.